Thank you very much. Good afternoon, and thanks to STEPS and Laila Mehta and everyone in the STEPS group to give me a chance to speak here on this, that, you know, something, at least something for many. This is, I mean, it's a really great thing to see that meet some of the champions of water and sanitation globally, John Lane, Gauri-Shankar Ghosh, and many others who have been listening. And also, you know, in IDS, I'm associated with IDS for quite some time. But originally, I do not belong to this area of water and sanitation. I'm a livestock scientist working with the natural resources. And my link with IDS, with Professor Robert Chambers, I don't know if Robert is here around, and over the last 20 years with participatory approaches to agriculture and development, natural resources management and all that. And from there it came in all in here. Yeah, now the question is, does this, you know, the sum for all fits well with sanitation? You know, that's why the question is, the water for, I mean, sum for all in water, it's great. But some defecating in the open and many having a toilet, and that shit is doing something for your water. And John made a graph in the morning session, you know, and I would just like, I wanted to draw a line, you know, the population here was something and it has increased so much. And in water, we have gone like this, and sanitation, you can see a big gap. I would say, John, what I was thinking, you know, it would be like this. Because this water is, what water is that? This water is more mixed with shit, you know. Reducing the gap and so much of water, you know, because the population is increasing. And recently I was in Accra, in Ghana, and in Greater Accra, in Volta region, in Kumasi area, cholera started. Within no time, very quickly, large number of people, you know, they have more water, access water today. Open defecation is rampant. And what is the story of that water? You know, so I was invited by the EC, the EIB, European Investment Bank in Brussels, and they made it they knew this fellow speaks shit and gives all that filthy language, and he speaks against institutional open defecation. So they made it in-house. They did not allow anybody to come in. It was only them and the engineers and water people and then EC. I blamed them squarely. I said, you guys are responsible. You are creating more water without doing anything for sanitation and killing more people. At least you are speeding up the rate of contamination without cleaning up shit all around. What is the point of giving a lot of water? So that something for all, you know, the freshwater lakes and rivers, you know, is 2.5% of the world's water. But you know, if you put all the whole world's water fit into a 1 gallon jug, it's only 1 tablespoonful, which is potable drinking water. So much of water, but so much of contamination at the same time. Water use increased at double rate of the population growth rate. What's the, you know, that's John's drawing, you've seen that. While the global population tripled, water use per capita increased by 6 times in 20th century. So access to basic sanitation depicts a totally different picture. Totally. 2.6 billion, we are talking about these, you know, as the number game. We were listening to this number game story, you know, in our presentation in the morning. But you know, it's again that the Kenyan says, it is, as the Kenyan says, it's better to be approximately correct than precisely wrong. Yeah, so I mean, you are giving a wonderful data and this and that, but what is it? You know, more than 800 million lack access to safe drinking water, 2.4 billion to adequate sanitation. You know, just see. And you know, in my country, 600 million of my countrymen defecated in the open today, and they are going to do it tomorrow. They are getting ready tonight. It's already night. So the government of India, we are tired. Nishit Kumar is here, all of us, Laila Mehta, we have been struggling. It's not a bloody poor country. We are not poor. You shit and I give you money. Impossible. It's a serious intellectual constipation. Very serious. That still that thing is chasing that our assumption that our people are poor, give them money. But that's going on and on. God knows, but very recently over the last 4 or 5 years, I've started introducing CLTS in Africa. Massive changes taking place. And just now, Professor Duncan Murray was saying that he was making he said that if you really want to blame anybody, squarely blame the governments of those countries. I would slightly differ from that view, sir, because I'm coming to that. And now, many countries in Africa, who told them about KVIP? Who told them about all these technologies of sanitation? It's us. And they're still going along with that. I was very recently did a whole review of practice of CLTS in Ghana, in Nigeria, in Sierra Leone, and I know what's going on. But slight change, people are moving on. But still, in many, many countries in Africa, in Sub-Saharan Africa, the families whose income is less than a couple of dollars a day, their image, first thing about toilet is $200 VIP latrine or this and that. Who created these images? They can't afford it. To change that mindset, it's such a huge, difficult problem, but it's going on. And today 10,000 kids die. Every hour, 42 kids under 5 dying in India. The world is on track on Millennium Development Goal. All countries are in water, but not in sanitation. All countries in Sub-Saharan Africa off track, all. And what is that off track, on track? In Ghana today, 13% of the people have got access to basic sanitation. That includes rural, urban. Only rural, it's 7%. If they achieve 54%, that's fine. But that's not going to help anyway. They have to go a long way. So, what is this? How many of you, let me ask, how many of you know about CLTS? Could you kindly raise your hands, please? Okay, so I will try to skip many of these things, but trying to stay, because Laila told me, Kamal, don't talk about shit all the time and move away slightly from CLTS and try to bring that link. That's what I'm trying to do. Here you see, you see the fragment, divide communities on externally determined poverty criteria, BPL, below poverty line, above poverty line, all these things going on in India. And one of the very top bureaucrats of Indian government of India, Gauri Shankar Ghosh, is here. He was the Rural Development Secretary in the state of Gujarat, probably, in Gujarat, and then in government of India. He knows all these things. But probably he won't say, but at least I'm labeled as in India, that this fellow speaks against government of India's ideas, in international forum and all that. But I tell them it's my country. It's going on, it's government estimates, see, government of India is saying we have achieved MDG. How? We have constructed 60% of the latrine. 60% of the, they call it individual household latrine coverage. You claim them that you're going to be off track, you will not. That's government of India is saying 60% in terms of MDG target in sanitation achieved already. What do you say? But JNP, 600 million, 638 million open defecators live in India. So, the question is, 578 million in rural areas. So, the question is that whether it is counting latrine or no open defecation, or ultimately the final outcome or the health outcome, the better health. That's the question. We are still there. And government of India increasing subsidy. Some of our friends and colleagues, those who are promoting CLTS, They were invited in the 12th five-year plan meeting, the meeting for the planning commission, and they started talking about CLTS, this and that. Somebody whispered them and said, if you mind your job, if you want to be in a government job, shut up and don't talk all this rubbish. Let there be more, let us increase the subsidy. You know, these kind of things are going on actually. So the subsidy, then what is it? This is total. You know, it's a totally open defecation free. No question that what toilet model, what this and that, or some or for all, but first thing, nobody is shitting in the open. Collective community decisions, and no outsider decisions, we all decide together, and social solidarity. I may be landless, but somebody is helping me that, you know, Kamal, don't shit everywhere, do it here. You don't have a land, use this land. You know, it's all trying to achieve that, you know, the public good, that we, in our environment, we don't defecate in the open. And the natural leaders emerge and they make huge change. While I'm saying all these things, it's not that nothing is happening in India, a lot is happening in India. Some states, there are champions at the level of the ministers, the senior government officers, and the district level officers, natural leaders, Panchayati Raj systems, but local diversity innovations are the main elements. Look at this picture, you know, is from, I live in a city called Calcutta, now Kolkata, it is the original name is Kolkata. It's about 13 million people live there, 39 municipalities and 3 city corporations. This is for near Kollani, DFID's project, KUSP, Kolkata Urban Services for the Poor. $300, $250 to $300 toilets given. It's used for everything except in the purpose for which it's built. You can see that. It's a haystack, it's this and that, you know. Plan International constructed this toilet in Sierra Leone after 4 or 5 months. This is the story, you see. It cost money. There is a lot of thinking, engineering, design and materials and this and that. You know, look at this Yemen, wonderful thing. There was some shortage of brick to make the wall. Use the sand plate as a wall, you know. So it's all, you know, these things are all over the world. In Africa, Asia, Latin America, you will see them. This is very recent ones, you know. From Greater Accra region, fantastic communal toilet, community latrines with a VIP style, this and that, caved in. Many people were using it. One fine morning it caved in, all back to square one. The whole village went to OD, open defecation. You see, these are the kind of things, you know, centralized ideas, our technology, dependence on external input, high external input dependence on masons and this and that. But the real question is, when can we come to that decentralizations and empowerment and all that? Say, imagine this is a village. Go to any village today, there you will find some people having latrines. And these are the people having households without latrines. When you do trigger CLTS, the first time these guys realize that we are the bloody fools. We have constructed latrines, yet we are eating our neighbor's shit. It starts, you know, this becomes the pressure from within. But this is about in CLTS, you know, there are so many dynamics within. I'm talking about liquid dynamics, and there are these dynamics within the community, you know. And then Nishit and I were talking yesterday, the liquid dynamic is more powerful in there is the shit dynamic, you know. Because that shit makes you suddenly feel run to your loo because, you know, you've got a shooting diarrhea, and that's this, you know, it's all through the water and all that, you know. But this is all dynamic, definitely. But the question is that, you know, when we have the control of that dynamic, which makes us all safe, because that water could become lethal, you know. It could be totally poison. If all the households having latrine, only 2 fellows shitting outside, we have seen, it makes a huge difference. This is, as you know, and many of you know this CLTS, this woman in Sierra Leone, you know, these are the households, and she is showing with a small bit of yellow powder that where did they defecate. These are the households, and these are the shit. You know, they are showing where did they defecate in the morning today, and how much is the total amount of shit, and where is that shit going. So everybody wrote that 2 kilo, 5 kilo, everybody wrote that how many kilogram of shit they produce in the morning. And this was the household where there was 18 kilogram. Everybody gave a big hand, well done. Eat more and shit more. In CLTS, we never ask anybody to construct toilet or stop open defecation. It's whole learning exercise. And you are free to eat more and shit more, and everybody gave him a clap, and this was the man, and that was his house, 18 kilogram, everybody clapped him, well done, and we didn't know that he was the chief. He said, Chief, well done, eat more and shit more. Chief had got 3 wives and few children, and he look at how he was smiling and laughing with that all exercise, suddenly face changed. In 5 minutes time, right on the map, this guy stood up and said, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to do it, to dig a hole today in the afternoon, and I'm going to stop it. That triggering. You see, the shift in the earlier approach, the assumption where people are poor, give them money. People don't understand, teach them hygiene education. And people do not know engineering, so give them all these ideas, this and that. The shift came in to know, maybe poor, maybe illiterate, but a human being. No human being is willing or ready to eat each other's shit. And the whole driver changed from health to this thing that, you know, self-respect, disgust, shame, these are the things, the drivers. Anyway, so from Northwest Frontier province in Pakistan, you can see the real shit is brought, and the food is brought, and the flies do your job, but it has to be a fresh shit. Immediately all the children drew up, you know, that how they do all the cards, how the shit is coming to their food chain in their food. Hands and pigs and this and that and cycle, football. Don't you think they don't know? But yes, we think they don't know. Millions of dollars being spent on hand washing. Teaching them how to wash their hand, how to wind your ass. As if we are dealing with millions of mentally retarded. Huge money on hand washing, mentally retarded. They don't know, teach them. Fast. You know, the children immediately started procession. Open defecation, stop it. Urging their parents to stop it. 2 months time, villages changed completely. Wherever if the procession stopped in front of your house, you are exposed. Some child has seen somebody from your house is still defecating in the open. So everybody wants, move on, man. You know, it's children is playing a huge role. You see, the poor, I mean, I'm not going in detail because of the timing, but you know, the relationship between the poor and rich, and all that social aspects, you know, that whole social aspect of, you know, around the purity and, you know, and that caste, and that you are acute and this and that. But these poor people living in the periphery of the, you know, the yellow cards of the poor households, they said, you guys, Nepal, you guys come tomorrow morning to sit around here, we will see you. Because right on the map they decided that who come to sit where, and they cleaned it up. And these poor people, the poor low caste, they said, we don't drink water in your home because you guys shit around in the open. You're completely turning around that whole thing. So, from Bolivia, from Potosi, up in the Andes mountain, emergency defecation, look at the faces of the mothers. They're worried. Where do you shit? When it's raining, in the middle of the night, you have got a, you know, all diarrhea, all yellow border everywhere. See, now, who is teaching? These are from engineers from Wedek, from Goal. Look at that. This is Murad, the infrastructure advisor of DFID in Sierra Leone. UNICEF officers. Who is teaching? Who is telling them how they're going to change it? Exactly the same kind of things is happening. Handing over the stick. I mean, and also trying to learn and, you know, have some faith on these people that they can still do it. This picture, within 7 days after triggering CLTS in a village in Bangladesh, all local innovations, same village after 3 months, moving along the sanitation ladder, improving it, gradually improving it. From Cambodia, in one village, 5, 6 different models of toilets. All have hand washing station. Everything in one village. You see, it's whole idea because demystifying that thing, the toilet costs $200. Now, moving along the sanitation ladder, this is what we wanted to bring them from here, haphazard open defecation to very nice toilet, without this hygiene behavior change. And without that, it's again, you know, these guys using all that human excreta into agriculture and dry pit latrines using ash. Natural leaders, every time you use it and then you cover it, throw some ash, you know. So I'm just showing you some of these innovations. Indonesia, high water table. Now, moving from stopping open defecation into liquid solid waste management, liquid waste management. This is from Kolani in the slums, 52 slums completely cleaned up, but it's in urban CLTS. I was listening to the presentation here and in the post-lunch session. Fantastic, but CLTS did work, but it's again the political will. The political will is the most important thing there. Now in 43 countries, CLTS is being used, of which, you know, at least 7 countries in Africa, they have got the CLTS in their, you know, the national sanitation strategy. But now just a few points I'd like to show you that, you know, some countries in Africa where CLTS is in their national sanitation strategy, yet things are not moving slowly. It's not, why? Nigeria, Ghana, you know, this is from Ghana. Look at that, you know, which are the blockers? You know, I will just pass through this. Look at this interesting story. This is one village where VIP latrines were constructed, saturated with VIP latrines, and then they were never used. After 4 or 5 years, when they were all broken, when CLTS was triggered, and everybody started using these VIP latrines. And now, look at that. Everybody started using the VIP latrine, but when the whole principles of VIP, that ventilated pipe, you know, that was gone because it was broken. And hygiene behavior change came at a time when the technology is completely flopped, it's all gone. And the pits are open because it has to be dark, water has to, the air has to flow in, and there should be only one hole where the flies cannot come in, but it is all gone. This village, CLTS was triggered, immediately community constructed a nice toilet, their own style. After 2 months came UNICEF, gave them a sand plate. This abandoned that one, they came to this one. After 8 months to 1 year came World Vision, gave them a full toilet. You can see that all in a line. You know, complete inter-institutional incoordination, no link, nothing, nobody knows what is going on. And this man is saying, I used to use this, now I'm using this. And in that same village, the people, those who migrated, they are all waiting. They are waiting for some outsiders to come and give them something. So it's a, but another village in Ghana, another area, northern province, you know, this thing's fully covered, ash is there, and they're using it. So I think I will stop here, and maybe I will get back to in the question time, because it's a, but you know, it's precisely what we are learning now, that we have discussed about these things. You know, like today, you see, so much is happening, we have got so much of knowledge, yet we are not using this learning into our action. Now, in next month, in a couple of months' time, there is going to be Saccosan 4. There is not a single session of CLTS. There is nothing on CLTS. In July, in Kigali, there are 3 full sessions of CLTS in Africa. You see, but Saccosan, they don't believe in it. When they were lobbying for the Saccosan 4 in John's office, and I was there, and the Sri Lankan man was saying, no, we must get Saccosan and this and that. They don't believe in these things, you know. As if in South Asia there is no problem at all, no CLTS at all, nothing, no session. Kigali, full-fledged. We are bringing ministers from different countries. These are the stories. I think better I stop here. Thank you.